Hello, Brandon Walker. What's up, fam? The Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. It's called More Cowbell. It was aptly named by Pete Scantleberry of SEC Country. He gave me that name. I told him one day I'd give him credit on the show, and I did. And it's shocking because generally he's the worst. Anyway, we are coming to you from the beautiful SEC Country studios in Dunwoody, Georgia. It only took me an hour and a half to get here this morning, so I'm very proud that I'm here. Very proud to be here with you, fellow Mississippi State fans, as we talk about a lot of things today. We'll talk about a big recruiting happening, a big commitment in basketball. Robert Woodard II, committed to Mississippi State last night. That's a big deal. It's a big deal for Mississippi State basketball. They continue to get big-time recruits. We will talk about Dan Mullen and Tennessee. And boy, Tennessee fans are mad at me. They are mad at me. They're mad. They're as mad. Oh, no, I'm not going to make any Tennessee jokes. I don't hate Tennessee. I don't have anything against Tennessee. It's just that Tennessee isn't where they think they are. And I can see it. Other fans can see it. They can't see it. It's fine. So we'll talk about the Dan Mullen stuff. We'll talk about the College Football Playoff Committee getting it right one more time. I think they've gotten it right every single week with Mississippi State. I think they've been pretty much dead on. Pretty much dead on. We'll have our top five, today's top five at the end. That'll be fun. And we will, of course, turn to you right now on Facebook Live, and we'll have fun together. Hail State from Shannon. Chad Mass says it only took him 3 minutes to get to work. Well, that's, you know what? That's fine. J. Heath Hopkins says aloha from Hernando, Mississippi. And he kind of tricked me because I thought he was going to say aloha from Hawaii, but instead it's aloha from Hernando. But I guess aloha is in your soul. It's not really where you're at, is it? Iowa is here. Dan Adams. Kirk Miso is in Stark, Vegas. Thank you for being here, Kirk. Hail State from Algoma, Mississippi. Brady Zell checking in from Pontotoc County. Beautiful Pontotoc County. Well, you haven't had a party until you've been to a Pontotoc party, let me tell you. Aberdeen, Mississippi. Wayman Hodge checking in from Monroe County up there in Aberdeen. Give us the top five why Dan Mullen will retire at Mississippi State. Todd, that's on the list. I have a list of about 35 topics. I'll get to them. I'll get to them all. Hello, Robin Swinney in Brandon, Mississippi. Hello, Kenny Manning in Greenville, Mississippi. Cincinnati, Ohio. Wayne Randall says Tennessee hasn't been the same since Philip Fulmer was replaced. That is accurate. Rod Holder checking in from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. John Patrick Hamilton checking in from, I believe, New Albany. I think New Albany. Not New Albany. Is it New Albany? Yeah. Close. One of those towns in the northeast part of the state. You know what's better than New Albany? Old Albany. No? Nothing? Jokes are hard. Hail State from Biloxi. John Evans. Hello. Indianola, Mississippi. Home of the state champion Indianola Academy Colonels. I did not know that. Bobby Williamson checking in from there. Tupelo, Madison, Mississippi. Bill Anderson in Madison, Mississippi via Snohomish, Washington. Don't think I've heard those two cities mentioned in the same breath before. Hail State all the way. Houston from Vicksburg, Mississippi. Vicksburg, Mississippi. Where Brian Haydad's from. Where I understand when he left, the population immediately went up because there was more room. That's not, that I shouldn't, that's not nice. I shouldn't have said that. All right, 105 people. Good audience today. Good audience. We'll no reason to dilly-dally. You're going to give me till 35, right? I get to 35 today?
Yep.
Thank you very much, because you guys made us late.
Nope.
Officially. Well, not you. It wasn't you. It was Landshark. It was her fault. It was her fault.
I agree.
This is what happens when you have any Ole Miss people affiliated with anything. All right? Ridiculous. All right. Let's go ahead and go, Terp. I have nothing else to say to everybody checking in. Thank you for being here. Alaska's here, Adrian D. Brown, and when Adrian D. Brown shows up, it's time to go. So let's go, Terp.
The More Cowbell Show. Brought to you by SEC Country. And now, your host of The More Cowbell Show, Brandon Walker.
That's me, Brandon Walker. More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. Great to be here. Beautiful Wednesday morning here in beautiful Dunwoody, Georgia. Everything's beautiful. We're coming to you from the state-of-the-art SEC Country studios here in Dunwoody, Georgia. Thank you for joining along out there, whether you're listening just on the podcast, whether you're watching my excerpts that I put out on Twitter and Facebook, or whether you're following along on Facebook Live, as we invite everyone to do every morning at 10:45 a.m. Central Time. We've got about 120 people in there right now, 120 of your closest state fan friends and family. We have a good time every day. And Facebook Live, I'll be back to you right at the end of the show. But today we're going to talk about how I believe the College Football Playoff Committee got it right, once again with Mississippi State. We'll talk about Robert Woodard II, a four-star out of Columbus, Mississippi, committing to Mississippi State last night, how that's a big deal for the basketball program, the latest in a long line of big deals for the basketball program. We'll talk about the coaching carousel. It continues to spin, and it continues to spin without Dan Mullen on it. You should get used to that. I know it's been 9 years, media, and it's hard to accept, but you need to accept it. We'll do today's top five. Second in our new segment, today's top five. You give me a list, you give me a topic, I'll give you a top five on it. Today's top five will be the top five best Mississippi State Arkansas football games. The top five best Mississippi State Arkansas football game. Before I go any further, more Cowbell listeners, you know that Hooters is your place for game day, but did you know that Hooters now offers online ordering? In fact, they've teamed up with SEC Country to give you $5 off any order of $25 or more. It's simple to do. Just visit Hooters.com/to-go to place your order for the upcoming game. Let me read that again. Go to Hooters.com/to-go to place your order for the upcoming game. Make sure you use the promo code SECFans, that's SECFans, to receive $5 off any order, $25 or more. Orders must be placed online. So there you go. Thank you for our new sponsor, Hooters there. Appreciate that. Now let's dive right into the show. Let's dive right into what we've got to talk about today. I think the College Football Playoff Committee continues to get it right. I think Mississippi State has been fairly evaluated. It has been fairly ranked by the College Football Playoff Committee. It was 16th in the first rankings a couple of weeks ago. It was 16th in the second rankings last week, and it is 16th right now. And maybe you could make the argument that last week, after beating UMass 34-23, State could have moved up a spot or two, but I think they punished State a little bit for not looking good against UMass by simply staying put. And I thought that was fair enough. But they kind of paid that back this week. State loses to Alabama, but doesn't fall. State loses to Alabama, but doesn't fall anywhere. And I think State's still the highest-ranked three-loss team, or is the highest-ranked three-loss team. Out of the three-loss teams, State gets the most respect. So I think that's very, very fair. I think where State is a great spot. I think being 16th at this point of the season, with two games that should be wins left on the schedule, with a should-be win over Arkansas, a should-be win over Ole Miss, I think being at 16 right now is a perfect position for State. Still in a very good spot. Can definitely finish in the top 12. You got 2 weeks left of the regular season. State's 7-3. If you beat Arkansas, you beat Ole Miss, you're 9-3. All of a sudden, you're 9-3. You're not going to fall any. You can only move up. You got other teams playing rivalry games. You got other teams playing big games. The big thing for State this week was to not drop very far after Alabama. And I think for the whole season, the big thing has been how far will they drop if they lose to Alabama. They did lose to Alabama 31-24. The committee saw it, they respected it, and they didn't drop State any. So that keeps State over LSU. LSU number 20. The College Football Playoff Committee remains the only ranking system in the world that knows how to properly rank Mississippi State over LSU. And I know the AP and the coaches poll, they corrected, and they've kind of swapped it around and fixed it. But the College Football Playoff Committee is the one that showed the path that there's no way LSU should be ranked ahead of Mississippi State in anything involving football in 2017. It's a joke. It's a joke that has been fixed. I think the committee continues to get it right. I think the committee continues to show Mississippi State respect. The big thing was not dropping after Alabama. State can easily finish in the 12 to 15 range, maybe even the 10 to 15 range. You go 9-3, other teams lose. You put yourself in a great position to make a good bowl. I think it's very, very clear right now that State is going to get the fourth best bowl in the SEC. They have pretty much marked their territory behind Alabama, Auburn, and Georgia. 2 of those might go to the playoff. 1 of those might go to the playoff. And then you're talking, the other New Year's 6 bowls, take the other 2. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it looks like. But I definitely think you're talking about Mississippi State playing in the Citrus Bowl, the Outback Bowl, one of those nice sunny Florida bowls. If I had to guess right now, it would be the Citrus Bowl against a very good Big Ten team. That's what I would guess. And that would give Mississippi State an opportunity to play a nice sunny bowl game in January, big-time spot, a lot of exposure against a big-time program, and you could get a huge win to propel yourself into 2018. So I think the playoff committee has laid it out for Mississippi State. I think with the respect they've given, with the ranking they've given, they have laid it out, a perfect path going forward for Mississippi State. And I'm very pleased with what the committee has pretty much done with State all the way through. All the way through. I'm just fine with everything they've done. So Robert Woodard II, talking about somebody that gets it right. You're talking about Ben Howland in recruiting. Robert Woodard II out of Columbus, a 4-star shooting guard / small forward. He is ranked the 36th best player in the country, according to ESPN. He has been, since he was a freshman, ranked one of the top 40 or 50 players in the country. He has been a big-time recruit for several years, and he is coming home. His dad, Robert Woodard, played at Mississippi State in the late 80s. I think he graduated in 1990. He was a hard-nosed player for Mississippi State, a gritty player. And what I think you're getting out of Robert Woodard II is hard-nosed and gritty in the package of a 4-star big-time recruit. And, it gets tricky when you recruit these 4- and 5-star guys who play AAU ball and who have been told they're stars from the moment they were 12 years old, who have been treated as better than everybody else, who have been given the red carpet. It gets tricky when you recruit those guys because when you get them to campus and they start getting hard coaching and they start getting talked down to or whatever, they don't react well, they transfer immediately, they hate their playing time, they want the ball all the time. That is not who Robert Woodard II is. I've watched him play several times. That is not the kind of player he is. This is a great human being to bring into the program. I can tell you that right now. This is a great family line to bring into the program. This is a great skill set to bring in the program. I don't think he's a guy who's going to come in and, as a freshman, average 20 points a game. But I think he is a guy that you need. He is a guy that is going to do everything that is tough on a basketball court. Defend, rebound, pass the ball. Run the defense. Tell people where to be. And this is the kind of guy who can be a glue guy in the form of a 4-star recruit, in the form of somebody who's a top 40 recruit in the country. You think of glue guys and you think of guys that give you those intangibles. You think of guys that maybe are walk-ons or are off the bench or are lightly recruited, but this is one of those guys that just wins. One of those guys that does everything to help a team win, but he does it in a 6'6", 200 package that is one of the best recruits in the country. He's an ultimate team guy. That's how he plays basketball. I think he averages about 20 points a game. If he wanted to just score, I'm sure he could average 30 to 35. He's not a prima donna. He's not one of those. I'm not saying we've had any of those lately. I'm just saying he's not one. I saw him as a freshman in high school against Starkville High School. I guess it was 3 years ago now. And I had no idea who he was. I wasn't that in tune with Mississippi recruiting. I just returned back from Florida where I'd been for a couple of years. And I'm watching Starkville and Columbus play, and I'm there to see Tyson Carter. And Robert Woodard, as a freshman, puts up 25 points. Starkville barely beats Columbus. He's 25 points, 11 rebounds, something like that. And I go up to him after the game. I said, "Hey, man, you look good. Where are you going to college next? Or where are you going to school next year?" And he said, "Columbus High School." I said, "Wow. So you're not a senior?" He said, "No, I'm a freshman." And I immediately knew I was looking at somebody special. And I think Robert Woodard is the latest in a long line of special players Ben Howland has gotten for Mississippi State. He keeps rolling in recruiting. He's got the number 16 player signed for next year. He just got the number 36 player committed. He's also got top 100 guy, 4-star shooting guard DJ Stewart out of Greenville, Mississippi. He's continuing to add talent. Just in the 12-man roster next year, you're going to have 2 5-stars, 9 4-stars, and Quindary Weatherspoon, who was a 3-star as a senior. Imagine that. That is an amazing amount of talent. And I know the door hasn't been broken down yet. I know the corner has not been turned, but it's coming up fast. Probably faster than any of us realize. You can't not improve. You can't not be a tournament team with this much talent on the team. I'm not sure when the breakthrough is coming, but I can stone cold lock guarantee you it is coming. It is going to happen. And Robert Woodard's commitment is the latest in a terrific step in that direction. So the coaching carousel continues to spin. Dan Mullen still not on it. No matter what Barrett Sallee says, no matter what all the national media say, no matter what Bruce Feldman says. For 9 years, we've been told how bad Mullen wants to get out of Starkville. For 9 years, we've been told how if this job comes open, he's gone. If this job comes open, he's gone. Well, that job he didn't really want, but he wants this job. Well, apparently the job he wants is the one he has, because that's the one he continues to go to work for every day. So we'll talk about that in a second. But Tennessee fans are really mad at me. I mean, Tennessee fans have not taken this well at all. Yesterday, for about 2 or 3 minutes, I went on a rant about how I don't think Mullen is going to go to Tennessee. How I think Tennessee would be a fool not to target Dan Mullen, but Dan Mullen would be a fool to target Tennessee. And I still believe that. I still believe it's great that you were a terrific team in 1998. But Friends was great in 1998 too, but that show hasn't held up. You ever tried to watch a Friends rerun these days? It's awful. I just don't think Tennessee's program I don't think it has the standing now to get a Dan Mullen. I think when it's time for him to leave, he'll get a better job than Tennessee. That's my only argument. Don't be mad at me, Tennessee fans. There's no reason to be mad at me. I didn't do anything to anybody. All right? I didn't turn your program into an also-ran. I didn't hire a bunch of bad athletic directors and a bunch of bad coaches. I didn't hire Butch Jones and Derek Dooley and Lane Kiffin. You guys did that. Don't put it on me. I didn't make the 1990s come to an end. Time did that. Get mad at time. Tennessee fans are under the impression that they can settle on Dan Mullen, that they can go through this list of coaches, and then if they have to take Dan Mullen, they'll take him. They think they can just send a plane, roll out the red carpet, and bring him to Knoxville. Because they're Tennessee and we're lowly Mississippi State. Well, lowly Mississippi State's been a lot better program over the last 5 or 10 years because they have Dan Mullen. Honestly, that's the only reason, but it is still a reason. I'm going to go ahead and we just don't live in that world anymore. We don't live in the world where Tennessee can just snap its fingers and hire whoever they want. We don't live in that world. If we did, they wouldn't have hired Butch Jones or Derek Dooley. We just don't live in that world anymore. I just don't think Tennessee's going to get Dan Mullen or a coach as good as Dan Mullen, and that's probably the last I'll talk about Tennessee on this show. So let me lay out the next month for you. Let me go ahead and tell you what it's going to look like as far as the coaching carousel is concerned. Dan Mullen is coaching his team. He's doing a good job coaching his team. State's a good football team. Will be even better next year. Florida comes open. Dan Mullen doesn't take it. He's not going to go there. Media has pretty much moved on. Tennessee then comes open. I don't think Dan Mullen's going to take it. Tennessee and fans and media will continue to talk about that for a little while, but eventually they'll move on. They'll realize Mullen's not going. In a couple of weeks, Texas A&M is going to come open. And media will circle the wagons again. Dan Mullen, you've got to go to Texas A&M. Dan Mullen, you should go to Texas A&M. Texas A&M should hire Dan Mullen. And then Mullen will be the hot name for Texas A&M. You'll get Mullen to A&M articles. When Mullen doesn't go, it'll move on to the next school and the next school. And then it'll be time for spring practice. State will have a great season. We'll be right back here next year. It's just the same cycle we've been on since 2010. And I don't know how many times I can talk about it. I don't know how many times State fans can click on something saying Dan Mullen's going to this, Dan Mullen's going to that. All I know is Dan Mullen this afternoon is going to work at Mississippi State and will continue to do so. And will continue to build one hell of a football program. That's all I really care about. I do want to give credit to one guy. One guy in the national media who I think has stood out. I think he's great at what he does. I think he's been not a friend to Mississippi State, but he's been fair to Mississippi State every national appearance I've ever seen him do, every local, regional appearance I've ever seen him do. Peter Burns of ESPN has really been good. And he's really been fair. And he shows the ability to think, to actually think these things out and not just be blinded, oh, Tennessee's open, Mullen has to go there. He shows the ability to actually rationally think. Peter Burns tweeted out the other day, while outside media tries to tell people that Mississippi State isn't a good job, I'm convinced that it's one of the most underrated jobs in the country. And that's very nice of Peter Burns to say. He goes on to say, a good college football job has the following. Passionate and appreciative fan base. Check. Competitive football facilities. Check. Top-end pay structure. Check. Buy-in from the administration. Check. Unique home field advantage. Check, check, check. Talent-rich 250-mile radius. Check. Hail State football has all of those. That's what Peter Burns says. He's right. He's right. You know, it's easy to rely on your old thoughts or whatever you've grown up thinking. You know, and most of the guys in media grew up with Tennessee as a big-time program and other places as a big-time program. But look at what your eyes are telling you. Dan Mullen has built Mississippi State into a very good program. Dan Mullen has built Mississippi State's Davis Wade Stadium into one of the most unique home field advantages in the country. Dan Mullen has the 14th highest salary in the country. You don't have to go anywhere to get paid a lot of money. You can do that in Starkville. I know because I see it. So we'll keep doing this, and I'll have this passionate discourse next week, and when A&M comes open, I'll do it again. When Florida State comes open, if it ever does, we'll do it again. But it's just the same old song and dance, and I know State fans, we get tired of it. I get tired of it. But frankly, 15,000 Tennessee fans viewed my video yesterday, and I'm going to keep doing it. That's how I'm living my life. That's what I'm doing. Today's top five comes to you by the Brandon Walker Foundation. That's the only sponsor I've been able to find for today's top five. Holler at me, Mossy Oak. Today's top five brought to you by Brandon Walker and his family, his 9 kids. Best MSU Arkansas football games. This series really ramped up in 1992 when Arkansas joined the SEC West. This series has been one that really hasn't been all that kind to Mississippi State. Arkansas hasn't owned the series, but they've showed a little more ownership than State. However, Dan Mullen has kind of reversed that. He's kind of fixed that. Kroom didn't do well. Sherrill didn't do all that well against Arkansas, but Mullen has, by and large, fixed that a little bit. So best Mississippi State Arkansas football games. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you this. There's a couple on here that I'm kind of stretching a little bit. But I know number one, you can already guess number one, I'm sure. Number one and number two, and even number three are really good. But number 5, Mississippi State and Arkansas football games. Again, this one especially is stretching to get on there, but I'm going to say 2014. Mississippi State 17, Arkansas 10. Why was it important? Well, Mississippi State was the number 1 team in the country. And every game Mississippi State played as number 1 is kind of special. I mean, State was number 1 in the country for 5 weeks. They played Arkansas. I think they, as number 1, they beat Kentucky, UT Martin, had a bye week, beat Arkansas, and then went to Alabama and obviously lost. But the Arkansas game played as number 1. Will Redmond, the cornerback, got a pick to end it. State didn't play all that well. I think the play of the game was maybe Josh Robinson with a one-handed catch over the middle from Dak Prescott. And then Dak had a big 69-yard touchdown pass to Fred Ross in the third quarter to go ahead and put the game away. It wasn't pretty, but it was a win for Mississippi State over Arkansas. Number 4, 2013. 24-17, Mississippi State wins. And this game, I think, does deserve to be on the list because it was overtime. Damian Williams had to start it. Third-string quarterback. Dak was hurt. Tyler Russell was hurt. Damian Williams had to play in that game. We were 4-6, had to win that game to be able to get bowl eligible next week against Ole Miss. Had to win that game to get to 5-6 and ultimately beat Ole Miss to get to 6-6. But that game is one of those that set in motion what happened over the next 12 to 18 months. It set in motion the run to number one. It set in motion Dak Prescott's Heisman Trophy candidacy. If we don't win that game in overtime at Arkansas, we don't get to a bowl. Dak Prescott doesn't get the reins of the offense for a month before the bowl. Dak Prescott doesn't lead us to a 44-7 win. Who knows how much momentum we go into the next season with? So that 24-17 win over Arkansas doesn't look like much because neither of those teams was really all that good. But Damian Williams with that run in overtime was a huge, huge play for the immediate future of Mississippi State's program. Number 3, the only loss on the list, 2010. 38-31 in overtime. Arkansas wins. Arkansas had Ryan Mallett, had a bunch of great players. It was an awesome game, an incredibly played game. Arkansas came in, was in the top 10. I think in 2010, much like 2017, State lost 4 games, all to top 10 teams. I think Cam Newton's Auburn team, Alabama, Arkansas, and of course I'm missing one. Florida, right? No, we beat Florida that year. Anyway, there's another top 10 team in there somewhere. Anybody want to help me out? Let's check with the Facebook Live. But anyway, it was a great game. It was an incredible atmosphere, and I think it was one of those atmospheres that gave you a glimpse of what could happen at Mississippi State. It was a primetime ESPN game. It was one of those games, went down to the wire. It was one of those games where the cowbells were rocking, the stadium was rocking. I think at the beginning, Nick Bell's mom rang her cowbell by herself on the field, and that was an emotional moment. So I think it was really one of those great games. LSU, thank you, J. Heath Hopkins. I don't know why LSU slipped my mind. Thank you very much for that. Ty Brown saying, what's up? Brandon, awesome job. Thank you, Ty Brown on Facebook Live. Ty Brown from West Point in Booneville, Mississippi. One of my favorites right there. He was on The Bachelorette, He was. I watched it too. Anyway, back to the list. I used to go to games with Ty in 1990. Remember, Auburn beat Mississippi State 17-16 because Rocky Felker didn't go for 2. Oh, boy. That was a tough time. Anyway, top 5 Mississippi State-Arkansas football games of all time. Number 2, 2015. One of Dak Prescott's finest games at Mississippi State. I think something like 550 total yards, 6 touchdowns. He outdueled Brandon Allen, one of those Allen boys. He outdueled one of those Allen guys at Arkansas, 51-50. Beniquez Brown with the block field goal at the end of the game. I was living in Virginia at the time, and I was in my living room, and I turned my back to the TV because I couldn't watch Arkansas's final field goal attempt, and the call of the field goal was so terrible. It was absolutely terrible. I had my back to the TV because I was so nervous, and when it happened, I had no idea what happened because the call was so bad. You heard kick, thump. The thump was the block, and the guy was like, I think they tipped it. They didn't tip it. It hit him between the 5 and the 4, whatever his number was, the 5 and the 2. Beniquez Brown with an incredible block, and that was a great meme game. A lot of Tevez Calhoun running, high-stepping down the sideline. That was a great game for memes. I think the Dan Mullen meme where he yells and screams comes from that game. Number 1, how could it be anything else? 1998, Mississippi State 22, Arkansas 21. Arkansas, the week after giving Tennessee the SEC championship or the SEC East championship by laying the ball down, Clint Sterner did that. They come into Starkville. They had been undefeated before losing to Tennessee. They come into Starkville, and they play Mississippi State 22-21. State needs a field goal in the last minute. Wayne Mackin converts a 4th and 15. Go down the field. They kick a field goal. The Arkansas fans still think it wasn't good, and it was close. But it sets Mississippi State up to go to Oxford, Mississippi the next week and clinch the SEC West with a 28-6 victory. But while we clinched in Oxford, the West was won against Arkansas that day, 22-21. It's the only time State has ever won the Western Division by beating Arkansas that day, by beating a very, very good Arkansas team, 22-21. Wayne Mackin was a hero. There were a lot of heroes in that game. It was an awesome scene, an awesome game, an awesome year. It was definitely the best Mississippi State-Arkansas game of all time. Now, That's a good stopping point for the podcast. Remember, you can get your 2000. You can get your top. Let me get this straight. Terp, I'm trying out here, okay? Today's top 5. You can get your today's top 5 list to me at bwalker_SEC. If you're watching on Facebook Live, you can see it on the screen at bwalker_SEC. If you're listening to the podcast, that's my Twitter handle. Go ahead and get me those top 5 list ideas. You give me an idea, I'll give you a top 5 list. I think tomorrow's is top 5 breakfast cereals. Quick, Terp, what's your number 1?
Reese's Puffs.
What the hell did you just say?
Reese's Puffs.
I asked you what your favorite cereal is. You say Reese's Puffs?
Yeah, it's good.
Get out of here.
It's good cereal.
Reese's Puffs?
What's your favorite?
Not Reese's Puffs.
What's wrong with Reese's Puffs?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch is the best cereal.
It's in my
Frosted
top
Flakes
5.
is good. Fruit Loops is good.
Fruit Loops Marshmallows is good.
Apple Jacks are good. Reese's
Reese's
Puffs.
Puffs. Cookie Crisp is good sometimes.
Cookie Crisp is good. I love Cookie Crisp. Oh, man, I love some good Cookie Crisp. Man, Reese's Puffs. I swear, if you do that again, you get out of here. That is ridiculous. You got me out here holding the mic. I don't know why I'm even doing this.
Yeah, why are you holding it?
I have no idea, Terp. I don't know. You have kerfuffled me. I'm totally bamboozled right now.
I feel like Reese's Puffs is a pretty popular cereal, though.
Oh, man. Whatever. All right, podcast. I'm sorry you had to hear that. Terp is the worst, and I'm probably going to fire him. But we'll be back tomorrow, me and Terp. Thank you for listening on the podcast. Facebook Live, stick with me. I'll be right there to talk to you. We'll go over this cereal thing. I'll be right there. We'll spend 10 minutes together. Anyway, for the podcast, my name is Brandon Walker. You've been listening to More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. Boy, I tell you what, I just, some days, Terp, you really make me think out here.
I don't understand why that's such a bad answer.
First of all, do they even make Reese's Puff cereal all year, or is that like a special thing they make?
Definitely make it.
It's like the McRib. They bring it back. Every now and then. Do you like the McRib, by the way?
No, I've never had it. What? You a big McRib guy?
I swear, if I had anybody else, if my 7-year-old kid knew how to run that board, he'd be here every single day. Every single day, sitting in your chair.
I could teach him.
You tried to teach me. You see how well that turned out.
I did.
Apple Cinnamon Toast Crunch, says Drew Newell. Wade Glass says, hey, remember that time we traded defensive coordinators with Louisville? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. It's like it was yesterday. Boy, can you imagine being Louisville right now? They've got a Heisman Trophy candidate quarterback, and they can't win games because of how bad their defense is. Poor things. Michael Clyburn says, Cocoa Pebbles. Got Captain Crunch peanut butter, honey bunches of oats, Gray Snacker good. Wow. Got a passionate cereal discussion out here. So yeah, I think Cinnamon Toast Crunch and Frosted Flakes battle for the top spot.
Frosted Flakes they're so boring. It's like
no, they're frosted.
They're boring.
They're frosted. Flakes are boring.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch is good. That's
what?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch is good.
Yeah, it's very good. You look like a young. I don't know how Manny Noah Diaz is doing so well at Miami. Well, Manny Diaz is a good defensive coordinator, and he's got a lot of talent down there. Mark Richt is a good coach. They got it going on pretty good at Miami. I think Manny Diaz is a good defensive coordinator. It didn't work the second time he was here. I don't think he wanted to be here, frankly, but it worked the first time he was here. So I think he's a good defensive coordinator. Hands down, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Oh, wait a minute, Terp. You don't even like cookies.
I don't.
Well, how do you like Cookie Crisp if you don't like cookies?
It's not cookies. It's different. Can't really explain it.
Cookie is in the title.
I don't like eat it every day. I'll have a bowl of it once every couple of years. But
McRib is like a hot dog. It's a bunch of compressed meat products. Well, yeah. I mean, don't think about what you're eating when you eat McRib. It's just delicious. Never think about what you're eating when you're eating a McRib sandwich. Nope. Come here. I want y'all to look at something. No, I want y'all to look at something. I want them to see this shirt. Yeah, it's a great shirt for a 12-year-old girl. Look how tight this shirt is. How embarrassing is this? Why are you wearing your sister's shirt? Immediately go. Honey Nut Cheerios. Jesse Jones says Honey Nut Cheerios. Don't you do that. Don't you do that. Honey Nut Cheerios is a delicious cereal. I love Honey Nut Cheerios. Yes, Scott Campbell, Terp doesn't like cookies. Let's talk about Mississippi State for about 5 minutes. Since this show has gone off the rails already. Let's talk about Mississippi State. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of this weekend? I know we've talked about it. We'll talk about it tomorrow. But I don't think there's much worry about a letdown. I just don't think Arkansas is good enough to make that happen. Somebody says you had it on a Smedium. It's a Smedium shirt. That's not even Smedium. There's no idiom in that at all. It's like a extra small. That's like an XSS. Why? How do you even get that shirt? You did that just to mess with me, didn't you? 3 games in 14 days. Starters need rest. I think Earl Winter says, shouldn't State win by 21? I definitely think State should win by 21. No doubt about it. Arkansas is just one of the worst defenses in the country. They're the worst scoring defense in the SEC. They gave up 38 to Coastal Carolina. I don't know about getting starters a lot of rest, but I know Ole Miss has a night game against Texas A&M. They'll be tested a lot more than we will. If Mullen did leave, who would be our top pick for coach? Dan Mullen's my top pick for coach. He's not leaving. How's the team responding after the loss? Heard anything about how practice is going? Everything I've heard has been really good. That the team was mad that they lost. They weren't satisfied with just playing Alabama well. They thought they were the better team. They thought they deserved to win. They thought they should have won. And they were mad that they lost. And that's where you want them. You don't want them saying, oh, look how good we did against Alabama. Let's coast against Arkansas. You want them mad. You want them angry. And I think that's where they are. Everybody's saying we need to keep Grantham. Yeah, that's big time. Todd Grantham. Somebody says they like that shirt. Does it come in a men's size? Where'd he go? Did he leave already?
He's in here.
Okay. They said they like that shirt. Does it come in a men's size? Grantham is here for at least 2 more years. Todd Grantham is the biggest recruit for Mississippi State next year. It's the biggest. When we talk about players coming back or players leaving, Todd Grantham is the most important person to get back on the sideline for Mississippi State next year. Danny Lewis says they learned how hard they have to play to compete with Bama. With us coming off a physical game with Bama, do you think Nick Gibson and Colin Hill get more reps this week? Probably not. I think it's kind of proven what their roles are. They'll get 2 or 3 carries each. I don't think they'll get many more reps than that. I think Aries Williams can stand up to what happened last week. Aries Williams is the hammer, and the Arkansas defense is the nail. So I'm not sure. I would worry about getting Nick Gibson and Colin Hill more reps. Grantham is the real MVP. He's very good. I agree. He is very good. Aries and Gibson should split carries 50-50. That guy has star potential. I don't understand that thinking at all. I really don't. In Gibson's and Hill's limited playing time, I just don't know that they've shown you they're going to give you everything Aries Williams gives you. I think when it's time for Nick Gibson, time for Colin Hill to get the bulk of the carries, they'll be great. But right now, it's Aries Williams' time. What needs to happen to keep Grantham? I don't know how much of a raise it needs to be. I don't know if it needs to be a raise. I don't know if Mullen and Grantham love working together. I don't know anything about that. But whatever it does take, it needs to happen. Todd Grantham needs to be a part of the 2018 Mississippi State coaching staff. That, period. I don't think that's arguable at all. I don't think that's debatable. Will we have any wide receivers back from injury? I believe Gray is questionable. Gabe Miles is out. And that's really all you're talking about because Mixon played last week. So I think Gray could play. Maybe you hold him out and wait till the Egg Bowl, but I know Gabe Miles is definitely out. Gibson is in the same class as Aries, right? No, he's a year behind him. Aries is a redshirt junior, and Gibson is a redshirt sophomore. From Arkansas, athletic director out, quarterback out. Well, their quarterback's not out, is he? Coach is about to be out. Yeah, they got problems at Arkansas. There's a lot going on there. I think Austin Allen's in. Unless something has happened in the last 15 minutes, Austin Allen's in. The backup got a DUI, but Austin Allen's fine. Lewis Williamson says, does Terp like Ole Miss?
No. I don't really care for any SEC team. I'm not a fan of any of them.
Why are you the way that you are?
Go Terps.
You're wearing a logo that says SEC Country.
Yeah, I work here.
And why did you get one of those pullovers and I didn't?
Because I'm more important than you are.
Oh, okay.
It really is.
Britt Ezel says the backup is out. Yeah, Cole Kelly, the backup, is out with a DUI. Arkansas is a dumpster fire. That's not very nice to dumpsters. What did dumpsters ever do to you? So there's turmoil. They don't have a good offense. Their quarterback's been hurt all year. Their offensive line's terrible. They have no receiving threat. They have no running threat. And they have the worst defense in the league. Other than that, I think Arkansas is pretty good. Other than all that, I think Arkansas is not bad. Austin had John Stringer, are you messing with me? I can't think John's. No, it's not time to wrap it up. I have till 35 today.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. He's trying to wrap me up. It's not time. I'm not wrapping up anything.
6 minutes.
AJ Pappas says also Bird is fat. That's not nice. That is not nice. Britt Ezel says Terp fits, and Brandon, you are hilarious. Thank you, Britt. I appreciate that. Britt's in Algoma. You guys know where Algoma, Mississippi is?
Nope. Where is it?
You drive to Pontotoc, and then you take a right or a left.
Oh, of course.
Wherever you're going.
Yeah.
And then there's a wide spot in the road with a sign that says Algoma. Good deer hunting, though.
Yeah, I'm
sure. Great deer hunting.
I'm sure.
I don't deer hunt, but I've heard it was great deer hunting. I don't like shooting guns. I don't have any philosophical difference with it. I mean, I don't care if you go hunt deer. I can't do it.
You ever shot a gun?
I have, and it did not take.
Like it?
What
kind of gun was it?
No, I went dove hunting with my uncle and his son one time, and they put me on a 5-gallon bucket. Well, first of all, why do you kill doves? I mean, they're beautiful creatures.
Nice.
So anyway, I was sitting on a bucket, and I reach up and I shoot it one time, and and I hated it so much. The rest of the day, I'm like, oh, my gun's jammed, and I kept coming up with excuses I couldn't shoot it again, and I never went hunting again. Great. Thank you very much. He was hurt early in the season. Kelly has started the past few games. Therefore, Allen will start. Allen started the last game. So Allen's been back. Allen played against LSU. He didn't play well, but he played against LSU. Straight country folks in Algoma, yes. Good people in Algoma. Good people. Is there a good restaurant in Algoma? I feel like there's a good catfish restaurant in Algoma. When does Terp get his own show?
I need one.
Half past never. What would it be about? Terrible NFL quarterbacks?
I don't know. I have to think about that.
Embarrassing alma maters? What would it be about?
I don't know. Sports. Fun stuff.
Here's the sports podcast with Terp. Welcome to sports.
Welcome to sports. So it's going to be called Sports.
Seafood Junction. I need to go to Seafood Junction. Tim Doss, when I come to Mississippi, when I come back home, can we go to Seafood Junction together? You guys want to go to Seafood Junction? Doves are great wrapped in bacon. Well, of course they're great wrapped in bacon. Everything's good wrapped in bacon. I could eat this cowbell handle if it's wrapped in bacon. I mean, whatever.
Will you eat it if I wrap it in bacon?
What, the cowbell handle? I eat the bacon off of it. Ninja Turtles. Top 5 Ninja Turtles? There's only 4.
Terps. He's talking about the Terps.
Oh, Terps. That's all. Sorry. Ty Story might get in for them, the number 3 quarterback. That's very possible. It's very possible. Terp's Hacky Sack Show. Sports sounds like an 80s sitcom. Britt Ezel lives 3 minutes away from Seafood Junction. Lewis Williamson says, what is your favorite restaurant in the Jackson area? I don't have one. I've spent a shockingly small amount of time in the Jackson area. I've probably been to Jackson, Mississippi 3 times in my life. Not many times at all. I just never really had the reason to go there. So I don't really have one. Catfish is not seafood. Well, that's true. That's true. But it's still delicious. You go to Anthony's in West Point, one of the best seafood restaurants around. Get the catfish with crawfish sauce. It's delicious. Cesar, you want to go to Anthony's with me? Eat some catfish with crawfish sauce?
He said yeah.
He said yeah?
He never had
good, because I'll pay the adult price and you can get in for you can get the kids menu.
Now it's not a date anymore.
It was never a date. Amerigo's is the right guy answer. Amerigo's. Is that in Jackson? I've never been to Amerigo's. Best outcome for a bowl this year? Ryan McMichael, good question. I think it's a Citrus Bowl. I don't think with the way with Auburn beating Georgia and Auburn not going 8-4 anymore, I don't think we're going to slide ahead of Auburn. I don't think that's possible. So I don't think we can get to a New Year's Six. I think Citrus is the best we're going to do, which is still really good. Still really good. Pap's Place in Ackerman used to have the worst commercials ever. What MSU item should I ask for Christmas? Well, you could start with one of these battle bells. It's fantastic. Steve C. bought one for the show, or this cowbell, or the More Cowbell on DVD box set, which I believe is it's 200 episodes on 195 DVDs. So you send me a check, and I'll make sure that happens. We could play Ohio State. Could play Penn State. Could play Michigan. Could play any of those big-name Big Ten teams. I think that's very, very possible. Steve C. says, Anthony's, I'm buying. All right, if Steve C's buying, we're going.
Am I invited?
Oh, God, no.
You said we're going.
No, me and Cesar, you're not invited anywhere. What are we going to – what if they bring out dessert and you say, well, I don't eat cookies, and then I got to throw you out of the restaurant?
More for you. I won't eat it.
A new helmet. Yeah, Brett, you got that one right. I do need a new helmet. We don't rob you, we just fill up your belly. That is the Pap's Place in Ackerman commercial from back then. And they had the worst costumes ever. Yeah, they had the worst. The pig costume looked like a naked baby. What? Oh, it is time to wrap up.
Yeah, like a minute.
He's right this time. Citrus versus Notre Dame. That's possible. It's possible. Jeff Long was fired today, the Arkansas athletic director. Arkansas is a mess. I'll end you with this. Arkansas is a mess. They're awful on offense, awful on defense. Their coach is going to get fired soon. Their backup quarterback is off joyriding at 8:30 in the morning. Their starting quarterback has had his leg reattached to play this game. Their athletic director is out. I think State is going to roll in this game and then roll into the Egg Bowl and do what they're going to do to Ole Miss. Kenny Manning says, is that still the old helmet? It is. I haven't been able to get a new helmet yet. I'm trying. All right. Bobby Strickland says, great show today. Brandon, thank you very much for Terp, for that ridiculous shirt in there that came off a Ken doll. I just want to say I appreciate you being here. My name is Brandon Walker. You've been watching and listening to More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country.